Hello, hello, hello. Hey, my name is Frank. This is Reflections by Wakeji. I'm sitting in for Wakeji. Who's taking a little break to prepare for the other books of the Bible that she's going to bring to you. We're in First Chronicles chapter 4. I'm very excited about chapter 4. And chapter 4, if you've been following, last week we were looking at the sons of David, and then we took at the last episode, not last week, we're looking at the sons of David. And then we took a little deviation and looked at David's life, and we saw the years in between his story. And then today we are in chapter 4, which is about the descendants of Judah. Judah, as I said earlier when we began this introduction to this book, when we were beginning the book, as I said, there's a bit more attention that is given to some names, and one of the names that is paid a lot of attention to here is Judah, and then we are going to see the other names like Levi in the chapters to come. But today we're in the sons of the descendants of Judah. I made a commitment again that I keep reminding us that I'm not going to go through the names one by one. You will switch off, okay? So I'm not going to try and do that. But I said that what we are going to do is in every chapter, we're going to glean in and look at the name or the names that have some additions to them, because everybody else has their name mentioned. If you look at verse 1 of chapter 4, you're seeing the descendants of Judah: Perez, Hezron, Carmi, Har, and Shobah. I'm not even sure how that I've pronounced all those names well, but that passes. But when you go to verse 9, which is where we're going to pay a bit of attention to today, I want you to see, and let me read for you verse 9 all the way to verse 10. Here's a name that you've probably heard of before. Jabez was more honorable than his brothers. His mother named him Jabez, saying, I gave birth to him in pain. Verse 10. Jabez cried out to the God of Israel, Oh, that you would bless me and enlarge my territory. Let your hand be with me and keep me from harm, so that I will be free from pain. And God granted his request. So what we see in that verse is we are introduced to this guy called Jabez, and then a little bit is told about him, that his name meant pain. His mother named him Pain because the process of giving birth to him was painful. And then we see immediately what Jabez does. I think by the time he gains consciousness and he knows what his name means, he goes to God and he prays, and he makes such a passionate prayer. It's a passionate but simple prayer that is made to God, and that prayer changes everything for him. He goes before God and he says the prayer. He says, Look, God, Jabez cried out to the God of Israel, Oh, that you would bless me and enlarge my territory. Let your hand be with me and keep me from harm, so that I will be free from pain. And to look at the end, that prayer from the end backwards. He prays and he goes to God and he says, Look, please, let me not experience pain. And this is him going to God and saying, My name means pain. The process of being birthed into this world was painful to my mother, that she named me Pain. Everywhere I go, the identity I carry is in reference to that pain. And he goes before God and he says, May I not experience pain and harm. You know what I like about this prayer? It's a very simple, as I said, but very powerful prayer. This is a prayer of a man who refuses to accept things just as they are. This is a prayer of a man who's like, no, it can be better. I do not have to carry this. My name may mean pain, but I do not have to sit down and wait for my life to be painful, because that's what my name means. And he goes before God and he's like, no, I'm not just going to accept it. It's what my name means, yes, but I'm not going to accept it. And this begs for you and I to ask ourselves, what are some of the things we've just easily accepted in life? What are some of the things that you've easily taken in life and you're like, it's what people say about me anyway. It's what my name means anyway. Jabez must challenge you to go before God and be like, no, I don't have to carry this identity anymore. Maybe it's some things that you were told when you were young. It's some things that have been happened to you before in the course of life. Some things happen to us and we carry the identity of those things. Jabez challenges you. He says, no, you can go before God and plead for different. And that's what I want to challenge you this morning, this evening, or this afternoon, depending on what time you're watching or listening to this. Listen to me. God gives us the ability to go before him and plead for different. And this guy Jabez pleaded for different. He had an audience with God and he was like, nah, I can reverse what this name means and I can ask God for better. If you really look at the prayer that Jabez made, he asks God not just for his name to change, but he prays for other things. He says, bless me and enlarge my territory. Let your hand be with me and keep me from harm, so that I will be free from pain. And God granted his request. You really see that this guy was asking for many things. Number one, he was asking for the presence of God. He pleads for God to go with him. Let your hand be with me. Number two, this is a cry for meaning. It's a cry for purpose. And he goes before God and says, there has to be more to my life than just what my name means. Number three, he's praying for protection. And he's like, go with me, keep me from harm. Number four, he's praying for a peaceful life. And he's like, may it be that no harm will befall me. May I be free from harm. Provide me with protection and don't let evil hurt me. God gave him what he asked for. You see, this guy is challenging us to go back to God and be like, there are some things that we've accepted. We live life accepting that this is where I am. This is what has happened to me. This is where I was born. This is what my life has been. And we can go to God and be like, no, I want this to change. Jabez shows us that. He also shows us that we can go to God and ask for more. We can plead for purpose, for meaningful living. We can plead for the presence of God to go with us. We can plead for God to protect us. We can plead for God to give us peace. Jabez pushes us to be passionate in seeking better for our lives. I hope that that is a challenge for you and for me. So what is that thing that you can pray for today? What is that thing that you can plead God to change? Something in your past, something in your identity, something that has been your constant reference, like people refer to you this way. What is it that you can plead God to change? Is it in your family? Is it something there? Is there something there that you can plead for God and be like, we don't have to accept? Maybe you come from a family where a lot of people are engaged in alcoholism or in drugs, and you can go before God and be like, no, this we can plead for better. We can ask God for better. Maybe you've experienced pain in one area of life or another. Maybe it's pain because of mental health issues or pain that is just physical pain. There's an ailment that you've carried for years. Maybe it's pain that is financial pain. You have never had a season where everything that you are able to supply for everything that you need. You've known a lot of lack financially, and that has been your story for a very long time. What Jabez teaches you and I is we can go before God and plead for better. That's the thing that I want to ask you to do today. What a powerful prayer that this guy made. And I pray this prayer over you this day. May God bless you. May God enlarge your territory. May his hand be with you. May he keep you from harm so that you will be free from any pain. And may God grant all your requests that are according to his will. God bless you. Have a fantastic day. Bye.